Hello everybody and welcome to one more video on big units. Once more, modern army. This dates from the year of 1982 and it is the rival army for the latest video that I've showed you, which was of course about the Syrian army. So this is the Israelis of the Peace for Galilee operation, both aircraft, helicopters, tanks, APCs, soft skins, etc., and infantry. So I have a little bit of everything, not much. This army still, I still strive to find machines for this conflict because while the Syrians you had dedicated plastic miniatures that I've showed you, like those Patna Panzers, that could be immediately adapted to the Syrian army. With the Israelis, you need a bit more. You need to have a little bit more trouble and work. It's not that easy. So let's at least, as this army was made many years ago, on those days I was feeling like that at least. Now probably if I search, there will be much more Israeli models available. Already found a few, as I'll show you, but well, let's start. So you have here one of the most famous things that the Israelis introduced into the 1982 conflict against the Syrians, the Merkava. These are Merkava 1. They are from that brand that I've been talking about. They are 187, pure 187, very nice models, as you can see, very detailed. And they are, I would risk Fabri, but I'm not really sure if they are Fabri or whatever. They are die-cast for sure, a mix of resin and metal. They're quite spectacular. Of course, then I added plenty of details, as you can see, those plates that I use for identification of the units, tarpaulins and blanket rolls, antennas, etc., and also some figures. I used mostly as tank commander. I used mostly the Rocco American commander. It has a relatively. It looks a little bit like the Israeli helmet. Not exactly, as everybody knows. The Israeli helmet is a special one, but this is close. So Merkava here, 12. I've organized, as you can see, these in pools. So not exactly, I don't know exactly how to distribute them. Still, I have plenty of information about Israelis in 1982, but I prefer to organize them in pools because, for instance, these 12 tanks can be distributed among some mechanized units, but maybe a few more would make command tanks and things like that. So maybe there are still a few missing. For instance, an example is the Centurion. You can see here, the Centurions are again from that collection. I would say Fabri, but not sure. I don't want to make publicity to them because maybe I'm wrong. So these were also extensively modified in order to have the shot version. You can see here some added armor on the roof, also made of milliput and things like that. Plenty of tarpaulins and things to hide some lack of detail. Also extra machine guns that you can see here that were made in plastic. Then they were pinned to the metal and to the resin. Well, this is the I only have 4. I needed a few more of these, but this is what I have up to the moment. So you can see 2 other over there. Then there is the pool of the M60s. There are 8, as you can see here. There are some. Most of them are the plastic Rocco 187 mostly. Not mostly, all of them are 187. Up to now, I've only showed you 187 models. Again, the Rocco Commander, and as you can see, plenty of additions, plenty of tiles added to make the Blazer Israeli M60. Also, extra machine guns on the turret, plenty of stowage as the Israelis used, especially in 1982 operation. There are also some of those much heavier Fabri, which are exactly the same size. So you can see here the Rocco and the Fabri, as you can see. No difference. The Faber is slightly taller, maybe a few millimeters, but it's not something that you can have a fight about. Now you enter a few 1/100 scale, so 15 millimeter size. You see some Echo M109. You can see them here. Let's try to focus. Oh, whoops. Okay. And I built this separate stowage bins in resin. I made two of them, and then I copied for all of the M109s that you can see here. And again, plenty of tarpaulins and stowage and things like that. Typically Israeli. Then M107, I think. 175 millimeter gun, I think. This is Rocco, so again, 187 scale. And you start to see here some very lovely Peter Pig Israeli in 15 millimeter. So 15 millimeter figures with 187th 18 millimeter approximately vehicle. So big gun, as you can see. Then you enter the mechanized infantry part or pool. So there are the command versions of the M113, M577, I think, not sure. Again, Israeli style, of course, with plenty of extra stuff. Some of them have flags, hand painted. And then I was, of course, when I was building this many years ago, struggling to find signs. Some of them, as you know, are pretty funny. The Israelis write these things in Hebrew. I have no idea what this thing means, but something. So all others M113s are Rocco. These are the M106 with the 81 millimeter mortar. More of them here. So my idea is that this thing forms a battalion. So there is a command vehicle. There are three M113 for the mechanized infantry, of course, and there are two mortar variants. Then you see here some jeeps. These things are, I think, Rocco. Now this one is metal. And this one is bigger, I think. Yeah, slightly bigger. So this is 176 scale. It's the only thing I have in 176 scale here. But it passes quite well, as you can see next to the Rocco. Not a big difference. Oops, let's try to focus. Okay. Not a big difference. And they are the variant with the tow. And as you can see, plenty of add-ons, machine guns and stowage of all kind. And Atlantic drivers, mostly. And then you enter here a pool of 9 M113s, which are whether QRF or Peter Pig. Maybe Peter Pig. Not sure. So, and again, plenty of add-ons, as you can see. Israeli style. And true Israeli 15 millimeter figures to the back. So this is, again, 15 millimeter. As I told you, I do the following. I even if, as you can see, even if of course, the one to the left, which is the 187th scale, is much bigger than the 15 millimeter one, which is one to the right. You see the same size of base. So when you look at them, I mean, especially when you place them very close, but when you place them relatively far from each other, I mean, well, I'm not being very, very, very successful in my way of demonstrating the proximity between the two sizes, but okay. So, but they are relatively close, as you can see. And when they are separate, of course, in the table, sometimes I hope you can see the difference. As I told you, I had to mix these two scales because on the days that I was making these armies, there wasn't much, there wasn't enough material from in any of those two scales, 187s and the 100s um, scales. There wasn't enough of each to portray whatever army you wanted, so I had to mix them. Nowadays, probably it's much more easy. You see here some Vulcans, some M163, if I'm not mistaken. This one is CMSC. I remember I remember thanks to one of our um, wargamer buffs that entered fortunately into my blog, and he mentioned, I can't remember his name. I'm very sorry. I'll write it down for sure on the text under the video. You remember me that these tanks, these vehicles that I had, both this one, the Israeli one, and those many BMPs, T-72s, T-62s were sorry, BMP ones and T-55s were from CMSC. Long gone brand in Scotland, and that transferred to Germany. So he remembered me of that, and he made a very beautiful text about explaining all those transformations within the enterprise and who became the owner of what. I thank him for that. I'll mention him on the text. This one is here. This one is CMSC, but then CMSC was starting to disappear. It went to Germany, and I made this one myself. I converted this one from a regular Rocco one in plastic. I built from scratch that turret, and I made my own Vulcan. It didn't become that far from the other one. In fact, I copied exactly the CMSC one into the Rocco based one. So two Vulcans. It can go, of course, one can go to this battalion, the other one to that battalion, or even accompanying the tanks, because Vulcans were, I think, also protecting the Merkava, the Centurions, and the M60s tanks. Now, you have here Israeli infantry. Maybe you recognize here in 187 scale the very old Atlantic. The Galil is almost there, as you can see. I mean, then with that black rubber band on the helmet, some of them have radios and things like that. They become very nice, these very old figures. I have plenty of them. I bought dozens of these boxes when I was younger, and recently, I mean, a few years ago, I found a stock maybe 100 boxes of Atlantic in a very old shop, and I bought all of them by €1 for €1 each, and it became a very good business. And here you have more Atlantic ones. Here, command versions. Some of them with green stuff, backpacks and things like that, for me to have command versions. So they became relatively good. And now you find here, for instance, Peter Pig, Israelis, with of course with radios on their back. Let me close the door because my brother is arriving and he doesn't know that I am a movie director, and is making some noise without, of course, being culprit of nothing. So you see here, for instance, anti-tank groups, here from Atlantic, command groups from Peter Pig again, and as these guys are 15 millimeter, they go, I mean, more or less okay with the ones to the side, which are 187th, 15 millimeter to 18 millimeter. I mean, difference is not that big. And remember that when these figures are separate in the battlefield, I don't think there is much of a problem with mixing these two scales, because they of course, they're never bunched like this, of course. A few last vehicles, a truck, a missile reloader, and a chaparral. Everything is Rocco. Now for the aviation, you have here some metal. This is a Skyhawk, and this guy is from. I think this metal collection was from Italy. So this is a repaint, of course. Skyhawks. Some of them are plastic, others are metal. Mostly Italeri, both I think they're Italeri. Most of these things you see here, both the metal version that they sent already built and painted, but everything was repainted, of course. I mean, exceptuating I think the F-15s, everything was repainted here. Some of plastic, for instance, I think this guy here, yeah, is very. This F-16 is very light, so Italian plastic and or Revel maybe, because Revel was also making these guys, this model. I think the cap is not helping that much, but there is probably a way in which he can keep still. Okay, he's not. He's performing, and he's an acrobat. You can see here, for instance, a metal one from again from Italy. You see here another. This one is plastic. I remember picking him up and feeling almost no weight. And the other one, the companion of this Phantom. This one is metal. Okay. Okay. So Skyhawk, 2 F-16s, 2 Phantoms, 2 Yak 4s, which are based on the Mirage, of course. They're indigenous projects from Israel, and of course the air superiority F-15 with the repainted symbols. It is the American camouflage with simply with new repainted symbols, and both of them are metal. That diecast, that kind of diecast that Italeri was making. So you have here 2 Mirage. I don't remember, but I think these guys, I mean, they could still have flown in 1982, but I don't remember many information about them in 1982. But I think they were around still. Then the Cobra, of course, and 2 Uis. And this is it. This is the Israeli army for the 1982. Still far from the numbers of the Syrian army. In fact, it was the opposite. The Israeli army was much bigger than the Syrian army in Lebanon. But well, one of these days, I hope that in the near future or in the far future, I don't know, this one will also become at least as powerful as the Syrian army. In terms of aviation, things are not bad, as you can see, because I didn't show you on the table the Syrian aviation, but I showed you then on the cabinets. Syrians also have plenty of aircraft to compete with these ones. Okay, hope you have enjoyed, and see you next in another video. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.